Boobity ba, boo boobity ba, boobity ba, boobity ba. Woo! On this week's episode of Half a Clue Movie Review, covering Russian Dolls Season 2. Wow. Wow. My name is Philip, and I'm joined here by
Ron.
And
Rosie.
yeah, Half a Clue. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow.
So today we'll be talking about, like we said, Russian Doll Season 2, brought to you by Netflix, available to all of you over drastically increasing prices.
Yes. Oh yeah, it's like $20 now.
Is it really?
My subscription right now is $20.
Son of a bitch.
$20.
Wow.
And I'm like,
I mean, they lost what? Like how many subscribers?
200,000, but they have 200 million subscribers.
200,000? Yeah, that's like nothing to them.
Nothing to them.
They
But
just
then-
shrug it off, dude.
But then the stocks is like, that's the whole thing with the stocks. My gosh. By the way, if you have Netflix stocks, best time to do is buy it when it's like all time low.
Yeah.
Wait for Apple to buy them, and you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is probably what's gonna happen.
Yeah, they're probably gonna get bought out, unfortunately, by somebody. Netflix as an entity couldn't have existed on its own forever. It doesn't seem like it.
It's
Doesn't
not
seem like it was
responsible.
very stable, since
No.
like the beginning. Really, they were always kind of like
Spending more
chasing
money.
their tail, just like come on, like,
Yeah, but good for them. They started the whole thing, and
yeah, nothing's gonna take that away.
yeah, except the season, which is what I'm saying.
They created so many other streaming platforms, or streaming platforms were created because of them, and because of them, and because of them. It's a whole Russian doll,
Somebody
streaming
give this
services.
guy a metaphor medal or an analogy medal. Okay, so let's get into this. Russian Doll Season 2, created by Natasha, Lyonne, Leslie Headland, and Amy Poehler, but only Natasha Lyonne came back for this season, and if anything, she's the main creative driving forces for this one.
Interesting.
In her own words, season 1 was about not dying, and season 2 was more about actually living. And I could see that.
Learning how to live. Yeah.
So,
Deep.
how did you guys know about Russian Doll, and what were your thoughts on the previous season?
Well, I'd heard about season 2, or I'd heard about Russian Doll from like other people, like just like seen it around. It's on Netflix. I'd seen it getting promoted and stuff. But it was mostly because of Rosie here.
Haha.
She started watching it before I did, and she was into it. And I started watching little bits here and there, and I was like, oh yeah, this looks like it's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to wait for Ron to watch it with me, but I couldn't. And then once I started, it was like a rapid fire. I heard from Kelvin. Kelvin
Yeah.
told me about Russian Doll, so that's
Right,
why
right.
I started watching Russian Doll. So tell your friends about shows, because like that's how this kind
That's
of
how
stuff
it
happens.
starts.
Yeah,
It's like an affection play.
it's
Yeah.
like
Tell them-
herpes.
Yeah, tell them about us, and then we'll tell them about shows too.
Tell them about shows too.
What's it called? Then I'm glad that it's you guys have watched it. For me, same thing. It's just friends and peers watch it. I'm gonna lie, because I knew nothing about it. I just saw that Natasha Lyonne, and I like her, but I thought it was gonna be a traditional comedy, right? I didn't know there's
Yeah.
time travel, so because they were like,
Me neither.
no, nothing, just watch it. And then I was like, oh shit, this is like
Yeah.
fucked up Groundhog Day, but like for depressed
Millennials.
individuals and
Well, she's not a
millennials.
millennial, I guess.
Or no,
She's-
but depressed
yeah.
like New Yorkers or something.
yeah.
So I was like, wow, this appeals to me. I am a depressed individual.
That's relatable.
Yeah. So it's so I did really enjoy it. And season 1 had such a crowd pleasing ending. Like
Yes.
pumping up the fist, where it had like the 2 parallel timelines of Natasha Lyonne's character, which is Nadia and Alan, played by Charlie Bennett, and they kind of just coalesce with their own individual timeline, and they both reconcile with living and not dying and all that shit. It was great.
Have this like hobo night parade.
Yeah.
Oh God, so good, so satisfying.
Yeah. It felt like it definitely was culminating in this this final moment.
And in a way that it felt like a mini series. Like it almost felt like it ended perfectly. Like didn't really need another continuation. So when they announced season 2, I was a little trepidatious. I was concerned. I was like, What? But it ended so well. I felt like everything was resolved.
How and why would you want to keep going?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was curious, but also at the same time, I thought like, yeah, there's just after finishing season 1, I was like, I could see there being potential for this.
Yeah.
You know, something else. I don't really know what it would be, you know,
No
but
idea.
their lives are still, you know, kind of messes. They're still kind of like messy
Right.
people. There's definitely more room for personal growth, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where they take it.
Right. So what about? So I know you said. What about you? When they said season 2, were you kind of like, or were you excited?
I was nervous, yes, because like again, I didn't know where they could go from there. Like, what are they gonna die again? Like, are they gonna start following different characters? Like, who the heck knows?
That's what I thought. I thought they were gonna follow
Yeah.
different characters with
Totally.
different time loops from like different areas or something
Maybe.
like that.
Yeah.
But I was excited because like after finishing the first season, it's just
Right.
like I want more.
I agree.
Rewatch it or something.
Yeah.
So now watching season 2, do you guys think this was necessary? And also, was the wait worth it? Because there was extended, like I think 2-3 years wait between the seasons.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't say. I mean, I guess it's not necessary, but like it's really hard to say what would be necessary for
Right.
them to do it. But I feel like they justified it though enough,
Right.
like to show like again these characters are still broken and there's still a lot of baggage that she's had to deal with, particularly with her mom. So where they took it in that direction, I actually did really appreciate that. Where it's more of like an introspective thing again, Russian Doll, and I feel like this season more than season 1, they really lived up to the name, the title of Russian
totally.
Doll. She's literally pregnant with herself, like
Yeah.
like that's crazy. Yeah. So, but I don't know. Overall, just I don't know if it quite lived up to season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. What about you, Rosie?
I loved season 1 and it was super fun watching it. Season 2, I feel like the more I think about it, the more I like it.
I can see
Because,
that.
like you said, like all
Yeah.
the literal stuff, like, oh, she's like inside of her mom, Russian Doll and stuff, but also like it being like introspective and like looking further inside and getting deeper and deeper. Like
Yeah.
in season 1, there's a lot of like they're dead, right?
Yeah.
They die and they're trying to figure out how not to die by like being basically, God, I don't want to say it, but assholes, like not caring for other people
Right.
and like having that unsatisfactory life that they lived. But then this is like how to make your life satisfying.
To
You know?
you.
Yeah,
Like,
to
Yeah, to
you.
you,
So
right.
because
Yeah.
it takes so much more than just like I don't want to just die with nothing to say for it, like being a bad person. But now it's like you said, like she said, I guess,
Yeah.
how to live,
Right.
and-
Yeah.
deal with like past traumas.
And I did like that. Like the idea is a good follow up for me.
The
I
idea is
think.
good.
Yeah, I think like the idea is good. And you know, actually, it's really well, it's really well made. It's hard. It's like it's not a bad season. It's really well made, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because on a technical level, there's a lot of moments that
I think we're better. than
yeah,
season one.
even we're better. Like my favorite moment and probably my favorite episode. I don't fucking
Is it?
remember
I
which
think
episode it was.
I think I know what episode you're talking about. Brain Drain, the
Yes.
schizophrenia episode, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. That was my favorite one. It kind of was everything I wanted from this particular show, where it was like the visuals were kind of
Yeah.
trippy. It got into like more into the headspace of her mom, and I kind of wish it stayed there more. And it was it was kind of scary. Like, you know, you see
Yeah.
her, she's like talking to herself, and she was so nonchalant about everything until she starts realizing how much she's like, you know, she's becoming her mom, and she's now literally like kind of like inheriting and dealing with her mental illness,
Right.
and she's stepping into her shoes, and she has that moment of like
She needs
of
perspective.
true empathy, for somebody else, and that was great. And again, on the technical level, where it showed that like reverse dolly zoom of like, you know, the background and her, and then to the doctor, and like that space actually just expanding.
Ooh, when
the
he's
same
like,
time.
your mom's not in the room, and she's like, she's right there.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I was like, that's so great. And then you see her smashing the mirror,
Yes.
because of the bugs, and she's scratching herself, and she's flipping out, and it's like, oh god.
And it's scary.
Yeah, it's
it was
very
scary.
scary. It's like, oh man, mental illness is always. I know there's a stigma against it, and there's a whole thing, and I think the show, you know, does a great job of like, you know, showing how much of a struggle it is and everything. But it's, I'm not gonna lie, stuff like that, it can be scary.
It's scary.
It's a lot to deal
Get
with.
that perspective into it, and just like the look. Did they use a fisheye lens too to kind of give like a warped look?
I think they may have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at one point. Like, yeah, that was like that is also my favorite episode. I think is it everyone's favorite episode here? Or
I can't decide on a favorite episode.
is this like every episode is amazing? It is actually every episode because it's so consistent.
Yeah.
It's consistent.
It's
Yeah.
well made. Again, like the color, the lighting, everything on a technical level. When they go to different time zones and jumping,
Yeah,
they do such a great job of showing it on the train, showing the wardrobe and everything, the production design. It's all on point. That's great.
and I don't, maybe it's just me, but like when they go to like 1962 Berlin or whenever like each time period has like or maybe just because it's a production design and the clothes, but it almost as if it's like there's a different like even color grading, like a different color saturation or hue.
Yeah,
It looks like it.
And I think they accomplished that mostly in camera. I want to
Yeah,
say,
that's
yeah,
what I mean.
just again in terms of the lighting, like you said, all of it working in tangent, which again just shows how much work and care they put into this, and which is like just great to see.
Oh, that I know. And we're talking about all the positives and stuff, right? Like why it does, and you know the themes of like the first season's about that, second season's about to live, and how we deal with that. It's like it's not over, right?
Yeah,
For them, and continues, and that part's great. And they did a lot of good character work. But where do you think it kind of not to say falls off the road, but like how because of these drawbacks we can't compare it to how much we liked season 1 or so?
Well, for me, the biggest instance of that is with Alan. His character in season 1, I think, could have benefited the most from season 2 in the sense that, again, he finds out that he committed suicide in that one.
Yeah.
And for someone who is like, if you attempt to commit suicide, the biggest questions after that is then, trying to figure out why you want to live, or he decides that he does want to live in that one. And then now he's trying to, in the season 2, what I think would have been interesting is like they're saying the theme basically, which is now him deciding to give himself a better life, or like, give himself more purpose and everything. Yeah. And I feel like they really left a lot of that on the table.
Yeah.
There's a lot that could have been done with him in particular that was just really left untapped, unfortunately.
What about you, Rosie? Do you feel the same way regarding that?
Yeah, I do think what they could have possibly done, now that Ron mentions it, is like if they kept going with, this was clearly like season 2 more Nadia focused, like her with the baby and her with her family. But like if they, like in season 1, it was all Nadia until they introduced Alan, which was like I don't know how many episodes in.
I think it was like in my notes, it's episode 4.
Yeah, I totally expected something like that. Even I don't know if they wanted to do season 2 as more of like her self-reflection and dealing with like her past and her family's past and looking in, and then maybe a season 3 more Alan focused. But I don't see that happening with how season 2 ended, which I was a little disappointed in.
Yeah, especially in this one, I think even more so than the first season, that it really feels like it's conclusive, right? Like where else are the characters going to go after this?
My response, imagine me laying on the floor in the fetal position. Future.
Oh no, they're going to jump the shark and do that?
They did kind of address the future though here, because she's like, it's still like March, and like they're talking about like in the future you've missed Ruth's death, like she passed without you. And then I think they kind of addressed that a little bit already, but the future is like, you can't really deep dive into it. It's the future.
Right.
That's true.
Like it's always tied to like their personal growth, right? Like where there's a time loop is about their suicidal thoughts or their the messy nature of their lives, or this time travel is like how there's so much unresolved issues from their past.
Yeah.
And they're not moving forward. I guess their season 3 is the future.
Yeah.
Would it? Future. I can't. No, thank you. I can't fucking focus properly now. But season 3, I kind of agree with Rosie. It's like they did address a little bit in here, but I mean, like, what could they tie that with, right? Because it seems like a lot of them already figured out their personal demons.
Yeah.
Would it just be like they're over planning now? I mean, that feels like the stretch. No.
No, I don't know. I think there's a lot of potential, I mean, I feel like Doc could like, get off the train and just be like, come on, Nadia, we have to go save your kids.
Yeah, because like, I don't know, at some point, once you're well, no one's ever like done growing, but like
Yeah.
the process of like anything like education and like professions and like life is to eventually pass on knowledge.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, they find someone else, a younger person. to
It
help
could
do
be.
it.
It could
I
be.
don't know.
Or I
Like
could
mentor.
imagine something like maybe Nadia's child or descendant or something.
Yeah. Descendant
Comes
with
to her.
Alan or someone else.
Or it could be Alan's kid, I suppose, too.
Yeah.
Comes back to them and is like, basically on a quest like they are, right?
Yeah.
This isn't just linked to them, right? There's got to be
Adam's
like
Project.
other stuff. Yeah.
Oh my god. Adam's project
Alan's
or
project.
Alan's
Alan's
project.
Yeah. But basically, like, maybe he comes back and tries to correct something, I don't know.
I
Or,
don't
like,
know,
it-
but you
it's like
can't
it is-
correct anything. They've already just like
Yeah, there's a lot of like
Like,
issues with like generational trauma and stuff, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
And
But I feel like they also addressed all of that here. Right?
they did. I don't know.
a lot of what we've seen so far, I mean, it's definitely like a hot topic nowadays. Everyone's
Yeah.
very open about mental health and like, stuff like that, psychological stuff.
Yeah, psychological.
right?
Yeah.
So like, what have they done? What else can they do?
Like if I feel like even this one was kind of pushing it, I think in terms of like having new things to say that
yeah,
other shows haven't done. So season 3, it's like because they really went all out in the season 2, like the Russian doll aspect, generational trauma, literally because she's inhabiting the different generations at different
Literally.
Yeah,
points.
she's in her grandmother, and then she's
Her mother, and
she's dealing with her mother,
She's
and then she's inside her
understanding.
mother.
Yeah.
That's
and she gave
Oh.
birth to
inside
herself. And then-
yeah.
Oh my god.
Which was great. Honestly, that was great. That's one of the best moments of the show.
Yeah. And she
I think-
breaks time.
Another thing is, I kind of wish because I really like maybe I'm biased because I really like the actress who plays young Ruth.
Love her.
She's Annie
Close.
Murphy from Schitt's Creek.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ew, David. Love her.
Oh my.
She's great.
She does
Yeah.
like a birth control commercial. I don't even like. I just like the commercial. She's in it. She's great. She's
Yeah,
fabulous.
she's funny.
I was waiting at one moment, like Nadia plays. Just like I mean, she did
A
it.
little something.
Um,
No, but I think that I wasn't distracting though. Like being
No,
so
she-
familiar with her other characters and seeing her, I don't think she
she's
was
good.
great in this.
And I kind of wanted more. Right? She kind of hinted
Yeah.
stuff
Definitely.
about like her trauma, her history, her dead husband.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe it'll be more Ruth stuff.
Ooh.
Season 3, more Ruth.
Oh my gosh.
Could be. That could be cool.
Natasha, you hear this? You hear this half a clue? Hire Rosie. She'll
Yeah.
write that. She'll hire.
We want more Ruth.
I do actually.
I was gonna say, yeah, I liked her performance a lot too, because I feel like she, being opposite of Natasha, who
Yeah.
speaks, she's very like talkative. She talks a
Yeah,
lot.
she's and so much personality, brimming with like
Yeah, but she was able to communicate so much just with like her looks and her just like
Yeah.
physicality and everything, that I think that she did a great job. Like, hats off to her.
And
Also,
it still
like-
felt like a lot like she had like some of like a younger mannerisms of the older Ruth.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was on point, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I just want to give a shout out to Chloe Savigny.
Yeah.
Again.
Who like did the best Natasha impression technically.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
certain moments where she was just really just like pretending to be her, but also just being kind of terrifying at times.
Yeah.
Super creepy.
Yeah, she's like, I'm hungry. It's like, oh god.
Can we get her in more stuff?
Yeah,
She's like the secret weapon where like she's been in a lot of stuff, but not like utilized like as like the main or anything like that.
Yeah.
She's
I
always
hope
like a
this-
secret
Sparingly.
weapon.
I hope
Yeah.
this draws people's attention to her more.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
Like it's captured mine.
I also really liked Vera, played by it's the older
Vera.
the older actress,
grandmother.
the grandmother, and the actress who plays her, Erin Borden. I saw her perspective. She was like her character was fascinating because she was harsh and in a way like sometimes cruel to Lenora, but at the same
Yeah.
time very fair and understandable, and also
Yeah.
has a clear, deep love for both Lenora and Nadia, right?
Yeah.
And you understand because her trauma is influencing her life, with like the war and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Lenora, she fucked up. And then,
Yeah.
so that character, I did really like that character. For me, she was also like a secret little weapon that I almost wish that we got more stuff because we got so much more Lenora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Ron and I, like, I don't remember after what episode, we're just like, it was when they were in the bathroom and she's like doing the pee, right? She's peeing in the cup. And then like Ron and I were like, oh man, Vera, does she like know? She's being like really understanding. Like, has she experienced something like this? Does she like, is this some weird, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was theorizing
genetic
because
thing?
it felt like she was the only person who was talking to Nora like she wasn't crazy.
Right.
Even though she's like, I mean, she knows she's crazy and like all this other shit. But like when she was referring to herself and like calling her grandma and everything, she was like, okay. Everyone else was like, are you okay? Or like, what's going on with you? Or whatever. She was the only person who was like totally just talking to her straight. Like she's just used to it or whatever. Just completely unfazed. And I was like maybe she's got something else going on. And they kind of do touch on that a little bit with how obviously she jumped into her body.
Yeah.
And then she spoke to the priest and everything. And yeah. So it's,
I kind of wish they said it further, right? Like it would have been nice to even have like Vera also time travel too, right? Like it seems like it is like some type of family, because Agnes, right? Remember when Alan met Agnes during the finale? Like she was aware of everything that happened. Right. She didn't like she felt like very aware of the time travel.
He wasn't in
aspect.
her body.
No.
They were talking.
yeah. It's interesting.
That is interesting.
And she like knew stuff that Alan wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm thinking that it is some type of family related issue, right?
Right.
So I felt like there's like this like in a weird way, I feel like this has so much potential to be better. Right.
Yeah. I think if it was longer,
Yeah.
a little more fleshed out, especially the stuff with Alan. Like, because
yeah.
that part when he's like talking to his grandma, right? His grandma?
That's great.
Yeah. Like, it was great, but also I didn't feel like as strong of a connection with it as I wanted because there wasn't that like extra buildup.
Because like parallel to that, there's the same time where Nadia is speaking to her mother, and there's so much more weight there. There's
God.
way more weight in her handing herself back to her mother. Like it's like
Accepting her fate, accepting that it can't be.
there's so much more weight to it and everything because leading up to it. Because we spent a whole season pretty much focusing pretty much primarily on this and her relationship with her mother, and even what was influenced from last season. So I felt bad for Alan's character that he didn't have that opportunity, but he was still trying to like muster up something, and they did, a little bit, but it wasn't to its full potential.
Yeah, it's just like I think if I wish they integrated storylines better. And there was even a cool idea. What if they went on the train at the same time in the same path? Like whose timeline would they have went into, right?
Yeah.
And or maybe they would have went to a timeline where Agnes and Vera met, right? Because Agnes was present in Nadia's timeline. She's the one who tried to get Lenora out of the train, as we've come to find out later.
Their paths did cross.
Yeah. So it's almost, and even like like I would have liked Alan to actually fuck up too and like save Lenny.
Yeah.
And that would have fucked up time in a different way.
Yeah.
Like it's just like I don't know if they were like they had to make a lot because I think like because these are the people who made season 1, right? Like they're very creative. Like I don't know if it's like just on a budgetary level or just time wise or something. Like what happened?
Maybe there just weren't enough people working on it.
Yeah. Because I think they shot
like,
this during the pandemic too.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. I think like we're gonna see a lot of shows kind of like this where it's like something just feels off, right? Like not a lot of things were done or it seems shorter stuff like that because the pandemic has kind of fucked with it.
It feels weird because I mean obviously it was like I think that's part of the schedyling, right? But the fact that it did take over 2 years to come out, it's because of that. Like because hey, we've been in a pandemic for the past 2 years, so there's been a lot going on. But it is a little disappointing again. But again, it also feels even more impressive what they were able to pull off given the circumstances. So
the only media that will not be compromised by the pandemic is anything attached to Tom Cruise. Mission Impossible 7 is like I don't know if we could have a submarine with like 300 people inside. We're gonna have a submarine Paramount. We're gonna make sure everyone's touching everything and with no mask and breathing on. It's
terrifying.
Yeah.
There's that one recording that came out when he was like yelling at that dude for.
To be fair, I mean he was
protocol.
harsh, but I agree. I agree with that. Like
in that moment, like it's like again because at the time when it was happening, it was
hard.
it was pretty around peak COVID stuff was going on.
The stakes were high.
Yeah, and like personally myself, I mean, like many people, but like I was like on a job where it was like we had to leave because someone had broken COVID protocol or whatever, and so we lost like an entire day of work. But like imagine losing months of work because someone was being careless. Like that would have been oof.
Because it's like this. Even we briefly talked about this off air, and this is a little side tangent. Because we're gonna go back into this, but like Fast X, right? Like these big budget productions, like every minute is like I think depending on productions, it could be like from $20,000 to $100,000 per minute, right?
Yes.
It's depending on the film. I think like the Fast X film, like they lost their director Justin Lin because of some creative differences. I won't say on this because like I don't, my person will get pissed if I say it, but they're losing I think $6 to $10 million a day from not being in production. So can't imagine like if a Russian doll or something like that, like just in case something gets COVID, like maybe they had a budget of like $80 million, but COVID outbreaks happen and stuff like that. They were just eating through and they had just cut. I'm thinking Alan's storyline was cut. That's what
it had to have been, right? Had to. Yeah. Disappointing, but
very disappointing.
All right. Any last wrap up thoughts you guys have about the season before we give it our final rating?
Yes. The finale. You guys want to talk about?
Yeah, let's talk about the end. I was trying to avoid it because
we'll talk about the end.
One of the best parts.
Yeah, parts you like, parts you don't like. What do you want to start with?
All right, let's start with the parts we liked. I really liked how time broke and it was like intersecting and had different production design, different costumes, and it all somehow still looked cohesive, but uncohesive at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm nodding, yes.
Yeah, like simple ways of like how they had Ruth coming up the stairs like multiple times and like the students
in the hospital, everywhere she turns.
Yeah, everywhere she was walking, people were like breaking everything. Yeah, it's enough to it would drive you mad, right? Like trying to figure all that out and
I feel anxious you talking about it.
Yeah, time collapsing in on itself is like it can be a hard concept to like pull off, but it's open to so much fun and so much you can do with it. And I think they did a pretty good job of doing that. And like a lot of like even when they did like the more expanded sequences, I'll say, like as they're like they both get hit by their trains and they drop down into like that kind of vast open space, so like that little nexus zone in between time and space or whatever.
Void.
The void.
Yeah, the void where they talk to people and stuff. That was great. I loved all that visually, how each of them had their own kind of color scheme going on.
Looked so
that was really good.
Alan's was blue, Nadia's was red. It's just I don't know. That all was pretty good.
And they both resolved their own character trauma with their own respective thing. It was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Rose?
No, yeah, I totally agree. I was thinking especially like the shot when she's going through the water, Nadia, obviously not Alan. And there's like a wall with like holes in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Oh man, like I don't even remember what else like it was, but it looked so good.
Yeah. And they have like of course the really like bit on the nose moment where she's like trying to choose between the Krugerins and herself. Like
was
she's
that on the nose?
Baby self.
What were they trying to say with that?
I don't know if it was on nose. I mean, it's good visual storytelling, I think.
Yeah.
It was on the nose. I was being sarcastic. That was like
I know.
That was as spoon fed as it gets. Not that whatever. Man.
I think it was it was still
worked.
done
It worked.
well.
It worked. The whole thing is very much just in every way possible. Let's say what we're trying to say, figuratively, visually.
Yeah, but
straight.
It was nice, like again, kind of like finally sealing that the whole Krugerins thing, because that was even left over from season 1, which was I think it was pretty fascinating seeing kind of the origin and like how everything kind of like how it affected everything else too. And her holding her baby self and everything. So yeah, that was great. And of course, you already mentioned her conversation with her mother on the train. Yeah.
So what did not like about it? For me, I think the final shot, it was fine. It worked, but it left me a little bit cold.
Yeah. It wasn't as cool as the ending for season 1, which was like the big parade, and they're like, it's like this big moment. This one is kind of like it mirrored the opening shot of season 1. So I see that. That's where like in the opening she looks kind of miserable, and now in this one she's smiling. So it's like, okay, I see what they're going for,
but just emotional impact wasn't there.
Yeah.
I think okay, so I already told you guys off of this that like I really liked the what the heck is it? The like door, the blue door.
Yeah.
the bathroom,
Is it vaginal
right?
enough?
yeah. And how it's like, yes, vaginal. And then there's like the 2 reflections on the side. So there's 3 of
Yeah.
them, Nadia, her mom, her grandmother. And I think that if they kept, because they do that before they show her in the mirror again. I think if they somehow like, I don't know, showed her in the mirror first and maybe like, even like not briefly, like don't hold it as much, but like faded into that blue and then just left with like the blue door vaginal thing. Like I feel like that would have been so
Wow,
much fun.
like, that's actually instantly better.
Right?
I
Thank
could
you.
see that right now.
I just
Oh
saw
my
that.
gosh.
Thank you.
So Natasha Lyonne, can you hire Rosie? I'm not even joking.
I think I love you, so just if you just want to say my name one time.
I like to thank this, Rosie Silva.
That was like
That
terrible.
was weird. That was terrible. Natasha Lyonne. What's it called?
I mean, Sasha. Sasha?
How do you do
Natasha.
Natasha? I
When
think
did you
it's
get
hard,
here?
hard as a guy, as a girl. I mean, can you? Do you want to?
No, I'm gonna practice though, because Ron said I should be Nadia for Halloween.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Yes.
We have a lot in common mannerism wise.
Yeah, I was gonna say she reminded me a lot of you in certain aspects, of course. I'll say.
I'll dress
Maybe
up
I'm
as
biased.
Maxine.
Yeah, you have a bag
just
full of
kidding.
gold
I'm just
coins.
kidding. I won't dress up
Yeah,
as
yeah.
Maxine. It's not-
I do love saying the word Krugerrands. So.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah.
Also, you are of Hungarian
things you
Jewish
didn't
descent. You know, it was a
What?
joke.
All right. Last minute thoughts, or are you guys ready to wrap this up?
I think we're good.
All right. My rating for this, talking about it kind of has. Okay, like season 1, I put it honestly. Maybe season 1 was like in the music because it's so refreshing and crazy and nice, and I was so
Was a-
pumped up.
Pleasant surprise.
In season 2, I was gonna put premium streaming. Like it went down a couple notches, but I feel like I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about it and just what we're able to do, what they're able to accomplish, and there's a lot of things I do like about it. I might push my rating to on the shelf. What about you guys? For season 1 and season 2.
Season 1 and season 2?
Yeah. For my season 1 is in the music. Season 2 is on the shelf.
Got it.
Season 1, I'd put on the shelf. Season 2, again, there's a lot of stuff that I liked about it. I don't know, man. I think I'll put premium streaming.
That's fine. That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Rosie?
This is tough. I feel like I'm like in between you both. Like I think both of them are on the shelf.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's fair. That's fair. Because it's like there's lots to like about both. And each do try different in other ways. And amongst Netflix originals, this is of top tier Netflix original like shows that we're getting now, right? And might be the only top tier shows we'll be getting in the future.
What other Netflix originals are you watching?
Right now, well, we watched series or films because we just watched Apollo
series.
10.5.
Serious. To compare, like
This one. Okay, there was Ozark, which we will cover in a future episode. Let's just say this. I
Stay
did not have
tuned.
the kindest words for the series finale. That's all. Let's leave it as that. Other Netflix originals. I mean, there was A Crown, but that season 5 is not coming out yet.
yeah. Does that count as now too? That's like ongoing.
Yeah. Stranger Things is coming out this month, which we'll see.
I hope it's good.
I really hope
God,
it's
I hope it's
$30 million per episode. It's one of the most expensive non-Lord of the Rings shows ever made.
It better be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, are we-
what's it
oh,
called?
sorry, what
No, I
else?
mean just to answer Rosie's question. What
Oh,
other
yeah,
shows?
yeah.
What other
Sorry.
Netflix original shows you guys been watching right now?
I've been watching right now, but I'll bring it up every time. Castlevania.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
because
no,
I'm excited for that one to be coming back whenever that is.
That's true. What about you, Rosie?
I haven't been watching anything really. The only thing I've been watching like after work is Old Enough. I don't think
Yeah.
that's a Netflix original, is it? I don't even know.
think so.
No, it's not.
No, I don't
It's
think
like
so.
I don't think that is.
Korean.
I was gonna say Seinfeld, but that's just
That's-
on Netflix.
yeah.
This is on Netflix. Yeah.
That should be on everyone's shelf.
And then other stuff, Actually, another thing is all the stuff we've been watching are just pretty much what we cover on the podcast.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
That's it.
That and trying to squeeze in Elden Ring whenever I can.
Yeah, that's the best TV series of all time, actually. All right, thank you guys for another episode. We're finally back with another TV review. This week, we're going to try to crank out as much as we can. We're trying to get back on the rhythm of it. We are still adjusting, and thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let us know what you think of season 2 of Russian Doll.
Yeah,
Down in
let
the
us know.
comments.
I'll tell you what thing though, it had the fucking fantastic soundtrack.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
even better than season 1, actually.
Very,
Joe
very possible.
Wong, right? Joe Wong.
Yeah.
Great
Great
kudos
job,
to you,
Joe.
Joe Wong.
Good choice.
All right, guys.
And Natasha, kudos to you. She directed like half of these episodes.
Yeah, good for
really
her.
good calling card. If
Yeah.
anything, this makes me. I would like to see more shit from her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it, Natasha. Get out there.
Get out.
Go.
You're killing it. She's been doing good for a while.
Yeah, she's been doing it for a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
She hasn't been starving.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.